Hey, Coach, I'm so excited you found us on YouTube. First of all, go subscribe and like. That means so much to us, and we're trying to get to 100,000. That's kind of our goal. Second thing is make sure you go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. If you want to win more games, have more fun in less time, hundreds of videos, less than $1 a day. It's unbelievable. You get my personal email address. You get everything. You too can become a better basketball coach. Let me help you put some championship banners in your gym. So let me help you do that. Go over and check it out. Let's head off to the video.
All right. Welcome. Episode 21 of Coaching Youth Hoops. Oh, I wish I was 21 again, Coach. Don't you?
21 with this brain.
Yes. We had this discussion the other day at dinner. We were celebrating. I don't know, end of something, and the frontal cerebral cortex of a youth is not developed till 25.
That's right. Yeah.
So they're not really fully developed. So yes, if I could take my brain and put it on the 21-year-old,
I'd conquer the world. I'd be retired, done, knowing what I know now, and that. Oh my goodness!
I'd have gone and worked for Apple. That's what I've done. I could go back in time. And then gone and stayed during the downturn, and then held on.
Hold it, yeah.
Yeah,
but we wouldn't have this, and we wouldn't be educating coaches around the world.
Yeah,
so.
And a million. Remember,
a million.
We wanted to educate. What did we wanted to?
We wanted to positively impact 1 million kids in 10 years.
Yes.
Right. And
yes,
we do that by helping, by leveling up the coaches.
Yep. So every coach is. Yep. I love that. All right. So we're going to talk about the difficulty of practice planning at the youth level. So I'm going to talk about my difficulty, and then we'll lean into kind of let you run with this a little. So I coach both my kids in youth basketball and youth sports, and it was always a struggle for me as a 30+ year educator, having coached 2 varsity sports, coached every level all the way up from 8th grade to high school over the last 30 years, to get my own practice plans done. I mean, it was crazy because it's like, what I can do with a 17-year-old and what I can do with a 7-year-old is not easy. So I always thought there was an area in the world that needed this solution, and I always told you that there was a need for this.
Right.
And that's where basketball practice plans came about. Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I noticed that need in my own area and personally too, because what I ended up, I actually was a master at practice planning, and I until I think we even talked about it, until I wasn't, until one of my assistant coaches said to me, now I've gotten a lot of positive. Matter of fact, I had a coffee with someone yesterday who is a coach, and he's been coaching youth basketball, and we were on the CYO board together. And Rick, if you're listening, shout out. He always mentioned to me, it's like, and we were talking about this yesterday, he's like, I loved your practice plans, right? They were so thorough, minute by minute, well planned out. And then I had a coach, my high school coach, said, I'm like, what? Yeah. And then so what I saw though from coaches was this struggle. I would watch their practices, and it was so random, and not random in a good way. It was random. Like there was no correlation between what they were teaching and the game. It was just a bunch of drills, nothing tied together. Kids weren't, walking away learning that much, right? So it was just really random. And so I thought, well, there's got to be a better way, a better structure. And even if you go, and nothing against these services, but even a lot of the services out there where it's a drill bank, and but you still have to assemble. And if I'm a volunteer coach, first time coach, even if I'm coaching a long time at the youth level, how do I know a progression throughout the season from day 1 to day X? I don't have a lot of time, resources, whatever, to kind of plod my way through and think my way through. And then, so that's really why I launched practice plans, to take this pot of spaghetti that's out there today and stop this just randomly grabbing drills off of YouTube and wherever else and putting them into a plan, or or just, scratching them down on a piece of paper as you're running into basketball practice, right? So let's put some structure to that. So again, going back to our mission, help 1 million kids, right, in 10 years. And if we can, and we do that through the game of basketball. So that's really why I started Basketball Practice Plans, is to really help coaches structure and then positively influence the kids that they're working with. Structure.
It's your why. Like I always tell coaches, it's the why. Like coaches don't ask, people don't ask this in everyday life, but what's the why? Like, why are you doing that drill? Why is it effective? Why is it working? Why am I doing, like, there's drills. I'm not going to get into the depth of it, but there's drills like, why are you doing that drill? What is it doing? Why are you spending 30 minutes on shooting threes with a third grader when they can't even get the ball there? So I think that's the solution you've been able to solve, is you've taken that why away and you've helped, like, here's your steps, here's your progression. You got to turn the oven on before
right. It's a recipe, right?
It's a recipe.
Recipe for a basketball program. And
there's a reason you put this ingredient, then you do this, and then there's steps. And it's like when you're putting that IKEA desk together, you better follow the directions or the IKEA desk is going to be like half sideways. And that's what I think you've done a really good job with on your site too, is those steps. Like, you're not doing C before you've done A.
Right.
And I think that's, all of us are guilty of, like you said, jumping on YouTube, grabbing a piece of paper, writing some stuff down. Oh, I've done this long enough. Yeah. I'd probably give a lot of my practices B's or C's because I didn't, like, at that level, because I didn't put enough time into the progression of the learning process. As a teacher, I should be ashamed of myself, but it's a time constraint thing. So you're solving that. I'm telling you, this is what Bill's doing, and that's what basketballpracticeplans.com is doing, is it's solving the time constraints. He's done the work.
Yep. So all you got to do is print and go to basketball.
Print and go.
Right. You can watch the videos that are associated with it to learn the nuances of that particular drill, but you don't have to think about it anymore. And I mean that in a good way. Some coaches might, well, I like to think, but no, it's like, what, I'm taking that burden off your shoulders. So all you have to do is focus on the kids, right? And perfect, the drills that I've laid out. And that's the other thing too, is when coaches just kind of randomly grab drills, you're wasting so much time in practice teaching a new drill from practice to practice. So coach, if you ever buy basketballpracticeplans.com, if you never buy it, here's one piece of advice. Come up with a drill that has multiple conditions, or constraints. Right.
Constraints, things that you're learning, you're passing, you're dribbling, you're shooting, you're doing more than one thing. Yes. Yeah.
And that has a progression. So the base is always the same, but so you teach that once, and then from practice, week to week, you're adding just one little wrinkle to it. Now you got to do 3 passes instead of 2. Now you have no dribble instead of a dribble.
Right. I'll give an example. I'll give an example, like one-on-one. So if you teach them to play some one-on-one, or you do one-on-one skills, there's lots of constraints you can do. You can put the defender in front of them. You can put the defender on side of them. You can put the defender behind them. You can put the defender that they have to come. It's like 2-on-2, and all of a sudden they have to help and recover.
Yeah.
There's all these constraints. You can limit the number of dribbles. You can limit the number of passes. You can limit the amount of time. All the lane. But I started with a one-on-one drill from the elbow or something, and all of a sudden I can build a progression where I'm letting them learn the game.
Mm-hmm.
You want them to learn the game. Now, goes back to my teaching. 1 + 1 is 2, and I have to tell you 1 + 1 is 2. It's not 3. It's not 7. So I can't let you discover that. There are some things that you have to teach as the foundational things in education and basketball. And then after that, now I can let them go. Once they know their addition tables, now I can let them go discover things and find out how sequences work and how numbers work together and all those. It's the same on the basketball court. It's exact same. It's no different from an educational standpoint. And that's where those constraints that Bill's talking about, I think, is important. And adding multiple, what I was talking about too, we were kind of on two different wavelengths there, but adding multiple things and no drill should do one thing.
Right.
Every drill should do multiple things.
Yeah.
So you're working on multiple parts of the game.
That's right. If it's ball handling, right, and shooting, as an example.
Yep. Every shooting drill every shooting drill we do, if it's a miss, we have the rebounder put the ball back in. And people go, why do you do that? I do that because it's teaching them to rebound. It's teaching them to read where the ball is coming. They're not just rebounding and throwing a miss out. They're grabbing it and then attacking the rim or dribbling or putting it right back in. So it's one of those things that over time, it's like, why am I doing this? Like, it was a why for me in a practice. It's like, well, we're not offensive rebounding well enough, or we're not reading where the ball bounces. So, okay, we're going to make every miss in this gym forever is going to be put back in. Every miss, no matter what we're doing, a miss is put back in.
Well, it's those little things too. Yeah, sorry. It's those little things or in layers, but you're teaching very basic stuff where then in an hour practice, you can fit a lot in. Then you don't have to do offensive rebounding as an example. You did that during, drill A, right? So you got, whatever, maybe it's a shooting drill, but then you have a rebounder and you're getting offensive rebounding in at the same time in that 5-minute slot. So you're killing a lot of birds with one stone. And that's how you have to think about think about practice.
I don't know if you can you say that anymore? Kill.
Oh, I shoot. I don't know.
I don't know. Is that PC? I don't know if it is. Maybe.
At least it's birds.
Kill two birds with one stone. First of all, why are you killing the birds? I don't know. I say it too. That's the only reason I'm.
And why are you shooting? Why are you doing it with a stone?
Right. It's like, I don't know. I say it too, and it's like, should I be saying that? So I don't know. Let us know in the comments if we should be saying kill two birds with one stone.
We go.
Never seen anybody do it. I'm sure if I got on YouTube, I could find somebody that did it. Don't really want to. All right. Anything? Oh, we got to do our little thingamajiggy.
You got one for me this time?
So it's
score, sub,
scores. Yep. Score
or timeout.
Sub or timeout on let's do zone defense for middle schoolers. Okay, 6 through 8.
Zone defense K through 8. Is that the question?
Yes.
All right. Zone defense K through 8. Wow. I'm going to do what you did. K through maybe 6. We're going to go with a timeout. 7th and 8th, we'll go for a score, or at least maybe a sub on that one. 7th and 8th, just to teach the basics of a zone and what a zone means. But by the time they get in 7th and 8th grade, they should know how to play man to man. And by the time you get into high school, you do want to mix in a few different defensive looks. So K through 6th grade, timeout on zone defense. 7th and 8th, we'll go with a sub. I think it's think about it as a maybe. Depends on the team. Depends how do they know man-to-man basics in 7th and 8th grade. They should by then. But yeah, I'm not like black or white on zone. I mean, I know some coaches are. Actually, one of my assistant coaches, I teach the offensive end. He teaches the defensive end. But I said, you got to put it in a zone. And it, we come out of timeout, you go into zone. You come into special situations, you go into zone. Just to mix things up once in a while, get the rhythm, knock off the rhythm. But at the youth level, no way. They can't even shoot. So yeah, that completely against the zone at that level, unless you're an advanced traveling team in your 4th grade and you won,
the national.
But even then, the national, whatever. Then,
don't do that. Don't do that. Yes,
get me started on a press break. Well, you save that.
We'll save that one. All right. Till next week.
I'm sorry. Full
press.
Full.
Oh well, we got lots of ideas. All right. Till next week, Coach. Yeah.
Hey, Coach, so glad you enjoyed the video. Make sure you subscribe and like. Second, go check teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. Let me help you put banners and stuff in your gym and become a nationally ranked coach, win more games in less time. Teachhoops.com is a community that will allow you to do that. Go over and check it out, and go check the next video out. Bye.